Well, welcome and good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're energized. I have the great privilege to interview, discuss, question someone I suspect might have the most fun job in Asia. I'm not sure, but I think that might actually be true. I do a lot of traveling in the world talking about what's going on in China digital, what's going on in Asia digital, and my stock answer is there are two spectacularly exciting trends happening in this part of the world. The rise of Asia, the rise of Southeast Asia in particular it's amazing. Those of us who live here see it every day. And the adoption and creation of new digital technologies that seem to be coming faster and faster. And my guest here, my interviewer, seems to sit at the intersection of those two things, which is exciting as an outsider, maybe challenging, a bit daunting at times, but it's a real privilege to be able to talk to you and ask you about what's going on, and merchants and brands, what really should they be doing this year? So that will be the question. So first, let me ask you, I don't want to give a poor introduction, but Howard Wang, Chief Technology Officer, Lazada. Could you explain a little bit just about yourself, what you're working on, maybe where you came from, how you ended up in such an interesting position?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Howard. Right now I'm the CTO of Lazada. I'm leading a team of more than 1,000 engineers and data scientists in this region. And we developed the Lazada platform. So before joining Lazada, I was the CTO of Alibaba.com. It's the international B2B division of Alibaba Group. And before that, I spent more than 10 years in the US for both study and also work in Silicon Valley for some of the internet companies there. Yeah, so yeah, that is my background. Yeah, glad to be here. Actually, I was also here last year.
Okay, so let's get right into, this is about emerging technologies. We'll touch on AI as well. Okay, I mean, it's stunning what's going on this year. Generative AI, all of it. Outside of generative AI, which we will talk about, looking at all the sort of rapidly changing technologies, sort of, I guess, a two-part question. For the merchants and brands and people, working in this space, what are the quick wins? What would be on the very, very short list of things to focus on? And, what would be the metrics you'd be looking for, like revenue growth, increased users, increased customers, maybe getting better data, increased brand awareness? If you were sitting in that chair, what would you, one, I want to know kind of what you're focused on, but also if you were sitting in the chair, what would you be thinking about?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question. So as an engineer of the system, such a large, complicated system, we know how it is wired in the back end, right? So here are some suggestions. So first of all, I think still it is very, very important to make sure your product is competitive in terms of the product price, service quality, and also the product quality. Yeah, so at Lazada, we did a lot of data analysis, and we have a data product called Business Advisor. Actually, it had done a lot of data analysis and insights, providing some of the very, very useful feedbacks to our sellers, to our brands. So first of all, I would suggest you to take a look at all those suggestions. It has been proven to be very effective suggestions. Second of all, right, so assuming you already have a competitive product, the next question to ask is how to sell it, how to reach to more users, right, and sell it. And at Lazada, we also have a bunch of solutions. You can join Last Flash, you can join campaigns. We also have a bunch of promotion mechanisms. And we also have one of the cutting-edge monetization marketing solutions. Yeah, so all these solutions help you to reach to more users in a more targeted way. It also has been proven to be very cost-efficient and also time-efficient. Last but not least, we at Lazada, our technology team, we continuously develop new technologies, right? Especially for the one that can differentiate yourself from your competitor. Yeah, so we want to provide our user more emerging, more engaging experience. So last year at here, actually, I introduced that we launched a virtual try-on, right? This year, actually today, exact today, we launched a new product. It's called Skin Test, right? So yeah, here is a quick demo. So basically, you just need to open your Lazada app and take picture of yourself, and our technology will scan your skin and analyze the skin condition, right? And recommend the relevant product to you. Yeah, so I would say these are some of the suggestions. Yeah, I have.
And the skin test tool, this is available for merchants now, in the near future, people working on the platform. What is the time frame for that?
Yeah, we are launching it today.
Okay.
And after that, I'm going to work with Jason closely and roll out to more brands. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I was just literally meeting with a skincare company in France a couple weeks ago, and they have tools like this. And they asked me, do you think this is going to be widely available? And I said, yes. Like Towson, I'm like, immediately. Like, it's coming right now. It's a fantastic tool, though. We've been playing with it. We're doing this time. Okay. Going from sort of general tools, constantly emerging digital, let's switch over to AI, which is obviously the hot topic for the last year plus, generative AI. So sort of same question, like one, within this area, not just generative AI, but AI more broadly, what is Lazada working on? And then same two-part, for brands and merchants here, if there's one or two things they should be focused on in this space, what would that be?
Yeah, so AI has been out there for a long, long time. And at Lazada, for e-commerce platform, we use it pretty much everywhere, right? In search, recommendation, advertising, and also even logistics, right? So we use it everywhere. But generative AI is super hot since last year, right? So, and at Lazada, we also spending heavily in this area. So first of all, I totally agree with what Gary just mentioned about creative. Yeah, so creative is super important in e-commerce platform. There's one data point on Lazada platform I want to share is image search has been growing really fast. Yeah, so right now instead of just typing a keyword to search or just browsing the app, the user they can open their camera and take a picture of the product, and we are seeing more and more users doing the image search. So the number of search requests doing image search compared to the beginning of this year has more than tripled. So it is actually growing really fast. So having a good content and having a good creative is super important, right? So in AIGC at Lazada, we actually launching some of the tools. We have one tool actually has a demo outside in the booth. We are launching this product to our advertiser. Right, so basically, we have a tool help them to optimize their creative. So basically, they just give us their product image, and we can extract the main product, the main content, and use prompt to generate the background, a better background, and also automatically generate different sizes of the banner, right? And we can also even change from a mannequin to a real model, or maybe even change the face of the model to a more localized face. Yeah. So this product we recently launched, and right now it is open to our advertisers, and eventually we plan to open to all sellers, to all brands. Yeah, this is the first area in terms of AIGC. Second, large language model also being very hot. Yeah, James Stone just mentioned that we actually launched our first chatbot. E-commerce chatbot in this region, right? Just a few months back, we collaborated with Microsoft and OpenAI. And since we launched this product, we got very positive feedback from our consumers. Instead of just typing keywords, they can actually be a little bit more explicit and narrow down on their what they want by having multi-round conversation with the platform. Yeah, right now it's just between the platform and the consumer, but we also plan to open this technology to our brands, to our sellers. Right now, yeah, our CCO team, Bridget, is here as well. Actually, my team is collaborating with Bridget's team very closely. We have a chatbot for the brands, for the seller to service their consumer called Lisa. Yeah, actually, I strongly encourage you to adopt this technology. By some of the A/B testing, right, the experiment, we found having faster response to the user actually can help you to increase your conversion by up to 30%. Yeah, so right now we are in the process of using large language model to revamp Lisa, the chatbot. So hopefully we can open up to more brands later soon. Yeah.
Okay, great. You want to answer this one?
Yeah, so yeah, that is actually what we are doing here at Lazada. So Jeff, actually, you have been traveling around the world, and you have actually talked to a lot of the companies and also industry leaders. So actually, I also wonder whether you have more insights, and probably you can also share with us.
Yeah. It's really, I spend about half my time in China, and then I spend about 30% in Southeast Asia, and then the rest, Brazil, Europe. It's very strange because the discussions we have often, and the media especially, it's always about the cutting edge and it's always about what's cool. And a lot of it is very cool. It's very exciting, right? Generative AI. But then when you meet with most companies, they're not really at that level. They're more focused on getting the basics in place. Often if it's large established, let's say a retailer, hundreds of stores, the discussion shifts from what's cutting edge and what's cool to like let's get the basic rewiring done of this business, and what matters and what doesn't. So I kind of go between these two conversations a lot, like what's cool and on the frontier, and look, let's just talk about being more data-driven as a company, right? That's a big part. Like if there's three things I talk about a lot with companies, usually it starts with let's get faster and let's be more data-driven. And companies like Lazada, you were born digital, right? It's always been digital. Most companies, they're in the process of going from maybe more paper and manuals and people in warehouses to more databases. And most everybody's in process. So you end up talking about, look, you'll get a tremendous benefit just by being more data-driven at the management level, and it'll make you faster. So we do that a lot. The other one we talk about a lot, which is, it's not really sexy in any dimension, which is the biggest bottleneck I almost always see is people. This is a very good strategy. We'll work on the strategy. This is a very good way to avoid getting disrupted. Very important. We don't really have the people to do all of that. How do we do that? Can we hire people? Well, that's very difficult. And usually what we end up talking about is people solutions and organizational structure. We got to do a lot of training. What I typically find on a management team is there'll be a couple people who really understand software and digital. Often the CMO, often the CTO, of course. And then there'll be a decent number who don't feel that comfortable. They understand some, but it's not the same depth they have in their other areas. So you end up doing a lot of training, which is very important. I teach at business school, so we kind of put on the professor hat. And then we talk a lot about tools like you've mentioned, that this is going to be one of your best places to get data and tools. You're not going to build all of this in-house. Almost no merchants do that, or brands. The very large ones might, but 80% no. So it ends up being a solution to hiring, training, and working with a company like Lazada that has tools that they are creating. But that's usually 40% of what we talk about is people and how to get this done in practice, and to sort of get across the idea of this isn't like a digital transformation where you start and you finish. It kind of goes on forever because the tools keep changing. So you're always in this perpetual process. And that usually comes down to having the right people that are comfortable with everything we're building in 10 years. We're probably going to have to build it again. It's going to be different. Propellers to jet engines, databases, AI to generative AI, and so on. So yeah, it's odd how the discussion sort of bounces between the cool thing that is very interesting and kind of exciting, and just sort of, let's just do the basics well, and that'll get us 70% of the way there.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, let me question back to you. Wait. All right. New digital tools, generative AI tools, let's just sort of pull it up beyond that. Like, if you were looking at a brand or a merchant and looking at all these emerging technologies happening, what would be sort of the main takeaways that you would have for someone at this conference, going home?
Yeah, I think from the technology perspective, the ultimate goal is to serve your customer better, right? So some of the areas I would encourage you to pay more attention. First is how the technology can help you to stand out from the competition, right? So either by creating better creative or by having better service quality, I think definitely this is the most important thing. Also the fundamental objective of using technology. Yeah. Second of all is targeting the right customer. Yeah. So some of the product may not sell well. Maybe you are targeting the wrong customer. Yeah. So targeting is definitely very, very important. Yeah. So try to adopt some of the data analytics tools and try to better understand your consumer. And I think that is another key takeaway, yeah, based on my experience in this industry.
Okay, great. How are we doing? We'll do one last question. This is a fun one. Well, I think it's fun. What is your favorite book that you would recommend, or that you personally think is interesting? And if there's one restaurant people should go to in Singapore, what should it be?
That's a good question. Yeah. So regarding book. I started practice meditation about 1 year ago, and ever since then I became very interested in the ancient traditional philosophy. Right now I very into the some of the traditional philosophy books, especially Tao and Buddhism. Right. So yeah, I read some books actually help you to better understand the purpose of life. The meaning of life. And one book I'm kind of reading right now, it is not a new book, it is an old book. Probably many people have already read this. It's called The Power of Now. Yeah, I think that book is really good. Yeah, so that is one book I recommend. Regarding restaurant, I'm not the type of person really into, or can have a very differentiated taste. Yeah. So the always correct answer is my wife is a very good chef. Yeah. Actually, I like to eat at home.
Okay. All right. I think we're about out of time. Everybody, thank you so much. Howard, very, very helpful. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.